Well, innovation is bringing something new into the market. It's bringing something that is supporting what is existent. It's changing a business process to make what already is a bit more optimized. So to improve, we try and unlock what is inefficient and make it valuable proposition to customers who will find value in the innovations that we bring.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the really innovative part about your product After Robot?
Well, the innovative part about After Robot is that we try to reduce waiting times for commuters. So commuters along the route, commuters that are in the car. So that with the decrease of that time, it means that taxi operations can happen a bit more frequently, and therefore also drive up taxi operations revenues. In that there's more people to get along the day.
And so we're trying to figure out a good message for young entrepreneurs out there. We want to know what is innovation and why should entrepreneurs be driving it?
Okay, thank you so much. Basically, innovation is quite important, especially in the context of the Eastern Cape, because the Eastern Cape has got challenges, and therefore you'd want young people to be playing a role in terms of trying to come up with solutions and innovation that would make it a point that we solve those challenges. So as SCT, our role really is to encourage SMMEs within the ICT and film sector to come up with innovative ideas and solutions that will basically assist us as a province to grow the economy as well as solve the socio-economic challenges that we are facing. So innovation is quite critical, especially with regards to young people that are unemployed, graduates from institutions of higher learning. So we think this is quite important, and without innovation we can't really accelerate development, and therefore would need as an entity to encourage innovation as well as create partnerships that are important to the innovation space within the province.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. What your opinion is around innovation and why it's important for South Africa in general?
I think innovation is important because if we don't have innovations, then we can't move forward. And because we live in a technological environment, it's important for people to keep on coming up with new innovations. I think it's what keeps us going forward as a country. I think this one, which is a machine that determines the condition of a road 20 years from now on. So basically when they're going to make a road, they get into this machine and they drive it on the road that they're going to create, and it tells them how the road will be in 20 years to come. I think it's a really important innovation that is going to help a lot of things, because recently there were floods in the Eastern Cape and roads started falling apart. So I think this is something that can help in future to say if this will be able to carry heavy rains and it will be able to carry heavy trucks in 20 years or even more years to come.
Incredible.
So that's one that I really like. And I also like this one. It's actually a fire detecting and alerting system. Usually they used to send you a message that you can receive on your computer, maybe via email, but because they realize that people are not always in their offices and they don't always have access to their emails, CSIR developed an application so now firefighters can receive a message in them wherever they are, if they are in the field, in real time, telling them of fires around the country.
Stunning.
So I think that's awesome.
Awesome. Okay, one more question. So, what? And you don't have to have deep insight into the development plan for South Africa the next 25 years. But why do you think it's important for the South African government to have a clear plan over the next 20 years for the development of South Africa, and why is science such an important part of that?
Why it's important? I think it's quite obvious, because in anything, in order for you to go forward, you need to have a plan, because if you don't have a plan, then things start becoming chaotic and you start not having solutions. I think we need to have solutions that are in place, and we need to test them and see if we will be able to go forward with those plans. So planning in any area, especially in innovation and in science, is important.
Okay, so we kind of want to just know, what is your opinion about what is innovation, why it's important, and why should entrepreneurs be driving it, and possibly in the Eastern Cape?
Okay. I think from my point of view, innovation should be an everyday life. And I think entrepreneurs with limited resources need to be innovative all the time as they go through the aspects of running their business or establishing businesses. So it's just to ensure that you utilize maximum utilization of your resources at best and profitability afterwards.
Fantastic. Why the Eastern Cape? Like, why come here?
The ocean first, and it's just a relaxed life. Creativity operates when you're less under pressure, and you can think more and clearly, and it's a known fact.
Awesome.
In regard to innovation, I think it's very important that we're always cognizant of the fact that it is not something that you go to school in and you get classes on and you have a certificate and you put on your wall saying, hey, I'm an innovative person. Innovation really is a spirit at the end of the day. And it's a spirit that can be transferred. By its very nature, innovation is a disruptive form of creation. So we cannot expect to say that we are now going to formalize within this policy how the innovative process is going to work in country A, B, or C. What we need to do is pay more attention to localization efforts and establishing a framework for which entrepreneurs can actually engage in business creation, in driving innovative efforts forward, as long as the policy around it is appropriate. One of the biggest things in my own personal experience is something as simple as getting a business registered. It shouldn't have to take 6 weeks of going to the office every day. What we need to do is establish online portals that say, 24 hours you can have a business registered in your country. Access to finance is always a big issue. Can we develop mechanisms locally that will allow young startups to actually grow more rapidly? And how do we alter education systems to begin teaching not this innovation curriculum, but how to approach things from a problem-solving angle? Because I think that is the actual key. We live in a world of systems and processes, and once you understand the overall system, you can then take out parts of the process that are inefficient and make them better, therefore bettering your entire society. From an entrepreneurial standpoint, that is actually the point where you make money. You identify the system overall, you see the process that runs through it, and the part that you take out and replace with your product is the innovation. It is the point where you can actually make money.
Innovation is all about improving what we have today. Take what we have and bring it to the next level. So that's what we're doing. And by definition, it requires trial and error. Trial and error requires failure. Failure requires ability to take risks. That's why you need entrepreneurs to come into the game and look for different ways to improve the way things are run today.
I can give you the whole theoretical, academic, the good speak, but innovation is hard, right? So innovation is not easy. It's not something that can be translated from one environment to another. It's contextualized. It depends on the culture of the company or the people that you're working with. It also depends on where your end goal is. It can be an enabling factor. Entrepreneurship, on the other hand, can happen in many different facets. It can happen with a variety of people. The challenge that we face in developing countries is that the models that work in developed economies don't work in developing countries. We are suffering from a lack of skills, a lack of educational background, and we cannot make that happen just like that. So entrepreneurship skills should be developed from a very early stage, should be incorporated into the education system. It has the possibility of actually changing people's lives. However, it needs to be supported, and right now it's not supported enough in government. Am I right? It's not supported by enough of the private sector getting involved and stimulating entrepreneurship. And we have the opportunity as innovation catalysts in the global forum and in our own communities to make a difference.
Because it's exciting, very as simple as that. It's fun. It's fun, it's exciting, it's new, and I think it's the core of entrepreneurial spirit. We're all a little bit crazy, right? To to do something that nobody did before or wanted to achieve something. So basically innovation and entrepreneurship in a way is similar words.
So my interest is particularly in innovation ecosystems. I like the term ecosystem because I think it recognizes that you can't manage innovation in a kind of command and control fashion. That it's something that you have to nurture. You can put the right elements in place, but in the end it's got to take root itself. It's easy to kill, an ecosystem can be fragile, so you have to also be careful that you don't over-manage it.
What is your opinion about innovation? What is it, or how do you think around innovation? And then why do you think entrepreneurs are ideal to drive it?
Okay. Hi. I think innovation is actually young people or people who maybe haven't been traditionally seen as innovators creating new things. It's about bringing new people into that economy of innovation, creation, and seeing what they can do with stuff. I'm particularly fascinated by what young people can do, teenagers in particular, and unlocking the potential of African youth across the continent.
Okay, so Tony, so what do you think is innovation, and what do you think entrepreneurs can play a role in it or drive innovation?
Well, innovation is a new way of thinking, oftentimes even disruptive way of thinking of products, services. It could be business models. Just you see a problem, no one has solved that problem before, or someone has solved the problem but in a different way, and you think that, oh, I can do it more efficiently, cheaper, in a more fun way, more engaging way, and then you actually execute and you make it happen. Why innovation and entrepreneurship? I actually think that almost all innovators are entrepreneurs. If not by setting up companies that are profitable, but by heart, they're willing to try out new things. They're going there where someone hasn't been before. If they're just inventors, that's okay, but in a way they can still be entrepreneurs. And I think what's a better way to pursue your dream and try to solve these problems than actually take the jump. You could work for a bigger company, or you could work for academia and do the innovation there and be maybe an entrepreneur. But if you're an entrepreneur, you're really putting everything into it. And I think that most of the really exciting innovations currently happen through entrepreneurship, because there's no one else telling you what to do. You're actually responsible for your own future. No one will nix your project unless you really want to. Yes, unless you give some shares away, then you get financial pressure. But at the end of the day, even then, you make that choice. Do you want to give someone else hold of your company or not? You're really on your own boss. You're working with hopefully a really amazing team. But what's a better way to pursue your dreams, innovation, and do it through entrepreneurship?
I think you're ideal for it because you're an innovator and an entrepreneur. Yes. And so what we want to know is why innovation and why entrepreneurs should drive it and can drive it.
So your question is why innovation and why entrepreneurs? I think that entrepreneurs kind of have the time to experiment with different technologies. They have the space to invest and come up with new ideas. And a lot of times these ideas are based on their experiences. And I believe that if we are supportive of those people whose ideas and their experiences drive certain business ideas, we can start the movement to create new business opportunities or jobs that kind of alleviate or help to alleviate some of the industry saturation that we're seeing today.
And so an interesting question for you. So as a mom, that was kind of like one of your driving forces to innovate. What's the message to other women and moms out there?
You need to come up with a way to balance your role as a mother and an entrepreneur.
many times women tend to kind of stay out of the entrepreneurial field because, they believe that their role as a mother comes first, and it does. But at the same time, there is this spiritual journey that all of us have, especially as entrepreneurs, and we have to satisfy that journey if we're going to live a fulfilled life.
Why innovation, and why you think that entrepreneurs can drive it in this ecosystem?
That's a very good question. So I think that innovation for me is all about empowering. It's all about ensuring that we use the skills and capabilities of everyone on this planet. So if we put that in the context of South Africa, we have had, or Africa in general, we've had the tradition of only governments doing things. And we've had this massive government and very weak civil society and very weak private sector, which basically means that most of the people actually are working still out and living outside governments. So we haven't been really capitalizing their innovative capabilities or their ability to drive entrepreneurial action or to find solutions to everyday problems. So innovation for me is about actually building a holistic society where everyone is allowed to come up with solutions to everyday problems, and some of them are going to be commercialized. And so in that sense, innovation is a big driver for reaching our developmental objectives. So the viewpoint of Nokia, of course, of this whole thing is that our role in the ecosystem is very exciting nowadays. If you think about the first phase of the mobile revolution, it was all about connecting people to means of communication, service like SMS and so on. The second phase of the mobile revolution is all about local context, contextual services, access to data, access to internet. So the second phase of the revolution is a joint story between multinationals like Nokia and local entrepreneurs in countries like South Africa, because they are the ones who know the local context, they are the ones who create the content and services for the local, regional. So Nokia's job is to be a catalyst and to provide support for the innovators and developers in reaching their dreams.
Yeah, I think we need to separate between creativity, innovation and entrepreneurship. Creativity can also exist without converting it into an innovation, but having the idea to be different. So a lot of people don't have the right sparks to become creative. So how to get creativity going is one thing. Second is innovation, which is looking at the way things are and making them different. Thinking of different kinds of ideas, ways to add value, etc. An entrepreneur then takes it and makes it a business. That's the difference. You can have people who are innovative and not entrepreneurial, and people who are entrepreneurial and not innovative. And innovation, you can have serial innovators. They're very good at ideas, and it's good to encourage them to keep ideating, which is great. But if you can also make them entrepreneurs, then that's a different breed altogether. Innovator come entrepreneur. So we need to tease apart all these things. I think all of them are just thrown together in this conference, but it's good to tease them apart. I know many cases where there are people who just keep innovating but aren't able to make it work properly because they aren't entrepreneurs, they don't have that business sense, that attention to detail, all that stuff. Whereas an entrepreneur being much more business oriented, just wants to take something and make a business out of it. He may also be innovative, which is great, but it's not often that you get these two skill sets together. So I think that is the challenge now, how to bring innovators and entrepreneurs together, not just get the same people doing the same thing.
I think it's more of a general one, that innovation is actually, taking something that's existing already. It could be something that's existing already, but you find just a new or better way of using it. So it's not necessarily trying to find something new, but you could be using something old, but finding a good use for it, a better use that makes something look new. Anyway, the reason I think entrepreneurs should be driving innovation is that in most cases, entrepreneurs are the ones who are trying to find the solutions, and they're better placed because they normally have a smaller size organization, or if you want to call it an organization. So it's easier for them to do things, it's easier to experiment. Same time, it is difficult if that experiment needs a lot of investment. If it does need investment, then it's a bit hectic. But I think they're best placed because we want to offer solutions. So it becomes easier for us.
Innovation to me is doing things better, doing things in a novel way that it makes more sense, it has more impact, it's more efficient. and actually a better societal impact. I think that's very important.
And why do you think entrepreneurs are in a good position to help facilitate that or drive that?
I think they are actually in the best spot because innovation then drives innovative enterprises, and that stimulates competition. And by stimulating competition, you will get even more innovative enterprises. So there's a trickle-down effect. Actually, it's reinforcing other innovations. It's reinforcing other innovations by competitors. So I think that's why they are in the ideal place to trigger this.